Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Metawatch. A couple of days ago, the Metawatch interview was published on the Warhammer community site, so I've gone through it. It's about 30 minutes long, so I've watched it, took out the main points, and condensed that down into just under 10 minutes. So if you haven't caught it yet, then hopefully this video will give you a good idea about what's happened and what's changed. It was really good. And it was hosted by Ben, and then you've got the lead game developer, Matt. Really good combo. I really like their Metawatch interviews that they do. Certainly less wordy than the Kill Team ones, and some really cool information. There's going to be a couple of significant changes, and a few points changes as well. I'm a little bit behind putting this video out as I've been working on something pretty exciting over the past couple of days, and today sees the launch of my first tournament that I'll be organising in the southwest of the UK, the TTSG Southwest Age of Sigmar Tournament 2023. I thought it was time I'd put myself out there and organise some big events in Cornwall and get people from the southwest all together to have some awesome fun games, starting with Age of Sigmar, and then I'll also be putting on some events for Warhammer 40,000, Warcry and Kill Team. I'll put a link in the description down below that will take you to my website where you can find out more about the event, check out the tournament pack, and hopefully come along and join in the fun. It's going to be great. We're going to get loads of fun prizes. We've got some brilliant sponsors already. I'll be sharing a lot more with you as we get closer to the event, which is the 2nd of July 2023. We've got a brilliant hall. It's such a great space with the stage and everything. It's going to be fantastic, and I hope you can come and join in the fun on the day. Alright, that's enough about that for now. Let's get back to the video that you've come here to see. Let's start by having a look at the table, and the idea is, if you haven't seen the Metawatch videos before, is that they try and get the win rates of all the factions between 45% and 55%. You're always going to get outliers like the Cruel Boys down the bottom with 44%, and then the Lumineth, Carriger and Overlords, Fleshy Courts, Gloomspite Gits and Disciples of Tzeentch are all just above that 55% mark, with the Disciples of Tzeentch right up there with 60%. So they're trying to get that down and get them within that 45 to 55% bracket. Some of the changes they've made should hopefully bring those outliers back down into the main group. So let's get started working our way through. And first of all, let's have a look at the two biggest changes, which are going to come for the Rally Command ability and the Arcane Tome Enhancement. Let's go through the Rally Command ability first. This is a hero phase command ability, and they've changed it here. Now we have to add the following text to the end of the rule. You can only return models to that unit that have a combined wounds characteristic of 10 or less. For example, if the unit that received the command has a wounds characteristic of 2, you can return a maximum of 5 models to that unit. I quite like this change. I think this is a good direction to go in, and it's not going to really change things for those single wound models, because, you know, if you've lost 10, you could potentially roll 10 dice and, you know, you're still going to be able to bring up to 10 back if you get lucky. But it's those bigger models, and I play the Stormcast Eternals at the moment, and that's an example they brought up in the interview. But if you're playing a reinforced unit and you roll lucky, you could potentially bring a couple back with those older rules. But now you're only going to be able to bring 1 back. With a wound characteristic of 9, then you're not going to get more than that back. So that's cool. I think it's a really good way to go. Really, it's affecting those bigger models. Even if you've got models with 2 wounds, you still can bring 5 back. If you've got models with 3 wounds, you've got a chance to bring 3. If you've got models with 4, you're only going to be able to bring 2 back. So really it's targeting those higher wound characteristic ones. I don't think you're going to notice too much of a difference on the lower end. And an example again they used are the Moon Clan Stabbers. They're not that strong, so with a single wound the chances of them coming back is going to be a lot greater, and it's thematic as well. The idea of them rushing back on, it sounds pretty fun. They did say they played around and tested the values and came to the decision that 10 was the best way to go. You're still going to be able to use your rules from your battle tomes, and competitively, reinforced and multiple units are going to be a bit limited. But I think just playing casual games, you're not really going to notice that much of a difference. And they did say it's a cautious adjustment just to take the edge off a little bit and reduce the impact that those high wound models can have if they come back onto the battlefield. Next up, we've got the Universal Artifacts of Power Arcane Tome, and they've changed this now. It's going to read, the hero does not have the Wizard, Priest or Khorne keyword. the bearer becomes a wizard that only knows the Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield spells. If you take a spell lore enhancement, you cannot pick any spells from that spell lore for the bearer to know, but the bearer can attempt to summon any endless spells included on your roster if otherwise eligible. They can attempt to cast one spell in your hero phase and attempt to unbind one spell in the enemy hero phase. This is quite an interesting change. I think they're focusing a lot on Disciples of Tzeentch here with this, but the idea with any of the universal enhancements like the Artifacts of Power is they want to see these being used in less than 10% of lists, so it's encouraging people to use their battle tomes more than the universal ones. And a lot of people have been using the Arcane Tome in conjunction with Master of Magic and Flaming Weapon. They found that an army that's generally good at magic can use those three and then get even better, and it's a bit disproportionate. They don't like that, so they don't want to see that being used anymore. So these reductions are certainly going to change that. I've been using it with my Lord Imperator. I've been making him a wizard using this and then using one of the spells from the spell lore as well. Can't do that now, so that's really cool. It's changed it a little bit, made me think about my list a bit more. And also with the Galician Champion rules from the General's Handbook Season 2, I really want to be using heroes in a different way now as I'm starting to incorporate those rules into my games more and more. I want to start focusing a bit more on the hero characters and using the rules from the General's Handbook. So I'm going to be using my Lord Imperator a little bit differently and maybe focusing the magic more on the heroes that are already wizards. The goal of the Arcane Tome was really to give non-wizards magic, not improve wizards who've already got magic. So that's the idea with it, and hopefully that's going to do that. But could be quite a big change for some people. I'm not bothered about this. I think it makes a lot of sense, and yeah, really interested to see how it's going to affect the game, and certainly those factions higher up the table. There's not been that many changes to the battle scroll at the moment, and if you look at the 2 pages, you can see that anything in the magenta, that's a new addition, something we've got to add and change in our rules. And so you can see that a lot of the rule changes were already there on the battle scroll from the previous edition. But we've got something on the 2nd page to look at, so let's have a look at the Grand Alliance of Destruction, in particular the Orruk War Clans, and the changes really are both for the Cruel Boy. So let's have a look at the first one. And here it tells us we have to change the first sentence of the Dirty Tricks battle trait to after the players have received their starting command points, but before the start of the first turn, you can pick 2 different Dirty Tricks to employ during the battle. I'm not all that familiar with the Cruel Boys rules, but I'd love to hear what you think if you play them. Is this a good change? Are you happy with it? Let me know in the comments down below. They've got another change. This is for the Gut Rippers. It tells us now to change the Scare Tactics ability to subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by enemy units that are not heroes or monsters that target this unit. Again, I'd love to hear what you think about these changes. Hopefully it's going to help get the Cruel Boys out from that 44% into the bracket, get them up between 45 and 55%. Do you think that's enough to do it, these 2 changes? Can't wait to hear what you think. Now let's have a look at the points changes. There hasn't been a huge amount of units that have changed here, but we're going to go through one faction at a time, starting with the Lumineth Realm Lords. You can see that Hurricane Spirit of the Wind, that's come down 10 points. Sinari Cathalar, that's gone up 10 points. And then a few changes, mostly going up actually for them. But when you're looking at 720 for Teclis, that 20-point increase doesn't seem that bad, but I suppose if you add up and you've got a few of these units, it could influence choosing one unit over other, especially in a 1,000-point list where, you know, you haven't got that many points to play with. It really could have a sizable effect, so they certainly do add up, those points. But with them just outside the 55% bracket, they're on 56% win rate. They do have to do something, so maybe this will help. The Beasts of Chaos are next. They're going to see some changes for the Doombull, Bestigors and Bulgors. You're seeing the Doombull and Bulgors going up, the Bestigors going down. Quite a big increase for the Doombull there, but if you're playing a list that's got Doombull and Bestigors, you're not going to see a difference, are you? But yeah, if you don't, if you're only playing the Doombull, if you've got Bulgors going on and no Bestigors, then that's a bit of a penalty for you. Disciples of Tzeentch next with 5 units, all seen an increase, quite a hefty increase as well. They really are trying to get them down from that 60% win rate back towards the bracket of 45 to 55%. That's quite big. That's going to have an effect for sure with 20 points going up for 4 units and 10 for 1. Yeah, that's quite a big increase there. Good news for Slaves to Darkness players though, you've got a lot of points going down. Look at this. Minus 10, minus 10, minus 20, minus 25, minus 25, minus 20. That's going to add up to pretty much a free unit, depending on what you pick. So you've got to be happy if you're playing Slaves to Darkness. I've played against them a few times recently at my local club, and I think there's a lot of people are going to be happy with these changes. A slight increase for a couple of Nighthaunt units. You've got Hex Wraiths and Dreadscythe Harridans, both going up by 10 points. And finally, there's the Gloomspite Gits, who are on a 57% win rate, so that's got to come down. And look at this, Scragrot the Loon King has got a 50-point increase, that's huge. Squig Boss with Nasher Squig, 20 points. Loon Boss with Mangler Squigs, that's come down 30 points, so that's alright. But a bit of an increase on all these. The Gobberpalooza, Sneaky Slufflers, and the Squig Herd all getting point increases. And there we go, that's pretty much everything that they talked about during that 30-minute interview, condensed now to just under 10 minutes. So I hope you found the video helpful, and I'd love to hear what you think about everything that's been changed here. Has it affected your army? What do you think of the points changes, good or bad? Let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget that link to my tournament is down in the description below. It'd be great if you could check it out and have a look. For now though, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it gave you a good idea about what to expect from all these changes. And if you did like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping me to keep going with these regular videos. And if you're signed up to Patreon at the moment, check out the Patreon page, as there'll be a nice discount in there if you can make the event. If you'd like to find out more about joining my Patreon page and supporting the channel, there's a link down below. It'd be great to see you there.